Are you feeling the burnout blues in your Spanish learning journey? Don't worry, you're not alone. In today's video, we'll be diving deep into some strategies to keep your motivation going as you're learning Spanish. So let's get back on track and reignite that spark so that you feel ready to conquer that language barrier. Hello everyone, my name is Mariana and today I'm going to be your motivation coach here at Spanish 55.
Wow, this is awesome.
So get ready to learn some useful techniques so that you can fall back in love with your learning process and retake that long-forgotten dream of becoming fluent in Spanish. So let's get started. Learning Spanish as an adult can be a roller coaster ride of highs and lows, but with the right mindset and tools, you can get back on track on your path towards fluency. So today, I'll be sharing some bulletproof tips and tricks so that you can tackle that goal of becoming a Spanish speaker by feeling inspired and excited every step of the way. So, how does motivation work? First of all, I would like to mention that there are two basic types of motivation. So let's begin by talking about approach motivation. This type of motivation has a strong relationship with the neurochemical processes that happen in our brain, the feeling of well-being, as well as the quest for pleasant experiences. Now, on the other hand, we have the avoidance motivation. This type of motivation is the one that causes us to run away or to stay away from unpleasant situations. So basically, this type of motivation activates our fight or flight response. Let's not forget that we're animals after all, so we respond to different stimuli by reacting in a different way. So both types of motivations are developed during childhood and are triggered or affected by both internal and external stimuli. So when we want to do something, it's basically because our brains understand that there's a pleasant reward at the end of that action. And that's the reason why we continue to do that action on and on repeatedly, even if the reward is less or even non-existent. So basically, our brain prompts us into doing that action over and over again. And I can give you a really simple example. Like when you drink water, your brain knows that there will come a reward. So it triggers that response in your body and you decide to drink water because you're going to feel satisfied, you're going to feel better, and you continue to do that action. And the same happens with everything. That's like the core of motivation, basically. But also, we have to think about the concept of liking something and the relationship that it has with pleasure. The connections in our brain that rule pleasure are fragile and hard to activate. So that might be the reason why it's way easier to experience a strong desire rather than a strong action towards something. So let me give you an example so that you can really get the idea of how motivation works in the learning process. Let's suppose that you want to become fluent in Spanish because you want to get a promotion at work. So you start taking your Spanish lessons, you're studying, you feel motivated, but guess what? At the end of the day, you didn't receive that reward, which was the promotion. So you're more likely to give up and just give up on your Spanish lessons rather than continuing to push yourself and to move forward and towards that goal because you lost that pleasure, you lost that reward that you were looking for. But let's suppose that another subject, like another person, that person wanted to learn Spanish because it was a dream that they had. Let's suppose that the person studied a bit of Spanish in high school and they fell in love with that language. And now they're going back to Spanish lessons after a few years. That person is more likely to become fluent in Spanish because that motivation comes from within. Therefore, that person is less likely to give up on their learning process. So how can you stay motivated? After all of this long explanation about motivation and how our brain works, well, let me share those tips and tricks that I promised you about at the beginning of this video. Number 1, set achievable goals. Break down your language learning goals into smaller ones so you can see the big picture, right? So you want to become fluent in Spanish, but how are you going to get there? You can divide that into small chunks and really focus on that. So instead of focusing on becoming fluent in a year, you can focus on improving the pronunciation of a specific vocabulary word. So in that way, your brain is going to feel much more motivated, and your pleasure center in your brain is going to work just fine. So you're going to keep on track, you're going to remain motivated, and at the end of the day, you're going to achieve that big goal by doing little tasks every day. Number 2, find your passion. Think about the aspect that excites you the most about learning Spanish and stick to it as an inspiration to continue learning. You can skyrocket this interest in the Spanish language by exploring literature, reading some books in Spanish, watching some movies in Spanish, listening to Latin music, or even talking to people who speak Spanish. So in this way, you're going to keep the motivation going, and you will be less likely to give up. Number 3, start seeing challenges as opportunities for growth. So let's suppose that you started learning Spanish 3 months ago. So at the beginning, you were feeling quite motivated because you were just starting, you were just checking the colors, the numbers, and basic stuff. But you're on your 3rd month now, and you're learning about verb conjugations, you're learning about past tenses, and all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed. How can you stay motivated in that situation? If you start thinking about your grammar lessons as challenges for those days in which you take your Spanish lesson, then your fight or flight response will become lower, and that will allow you to continue studying with motivation, with inspiration, and in a more positive way. Number 4, make learning fun. You can add some fun to your learning process by experimenting with different types of media and incorporating different types of activities into your practice time. So you can start using language apps, you can start listening to podcasts, or you can even watch your favorite movie in Spanish and try to repeat some of the dialogues just for fun. Number 5, celebrate your progress. Remember to always acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. You can give yourself a treat whenever you ace a test, or even like whenever you have a coherent conversation in Spanish with another person. Take some time to reflect on your progress. And remember, no process is linear, and everyone learns at their own pace. Who knows, maybe your progress is a source of inspiration for another person. So let me share a story about my own motivation to become fluent in English. Many years ago, when I was in middle high, I became the vocalist of my very first band. And at the same time, I was taking some amazing English lessons with an amazing teacher. This teacher showed me a lot of bands, and he showed me a lot of songs. So I started learning those songs. He showed me a lot of movies, and I watched those movies, and he showed me a lot of books that were amazing. So, I was taking those English lessons because it was mandatory. I didn't have a choice, really. I needed to go to school and just do some tests and, all of that. But all of a sudden, like a spark ignited inside myself, because I became passionate about that language, because I noticed that it was more than a subject. It was something that was going to help me in life, because I started singing in that language, and I noticed that my pronunciation skills became way better. And yeah, it was one of the best things that could ever happen to me.
Best time of my life.
What's your main motivation to learn Spanish? Let us know in the comment section. Time for a quick quiz to test your knowledge. Which of the following is a recommended action to keep you motivated in your Spanish learning journey? A, setting vague goals. B, finding your passion. C, giving up when faced with challenges. Drop your answer in the comments below. So if you really like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. So here at Spanish 55, we have an amazing team of teachers who are certified, and also they are native Spanish speakers. So if your goal is to become fluent in Spanish, don't hesitate and reach out. We'll be more than happy to help you in your learning journey. Also, don't forget to check our website. And there we have many testimonials from our students who are real students who started learning Spanish with us. So let's have a quick recap about the topic that we discussed today. Remember that there are 2 types of motivation, and in order to stay motivated, you have to find your passion and to make learning fun. Also, remember to take challenges as opportunities for growth. And remember, don't give up. You got this. Everything requires time, but in the long run, you're going to feel really satisfied when you're able to talk to another person in Spanish. So that was pretty much it for today, guys. I hope that everyone has an amazing day, and I hope that I can see you guys soon. Bye!